Today would have been my grandfather's 106th birthday, if he were still alive. So I thought I would feature the first knife he ever gave me. This was a hand-me-down. Obviously, this was his knife. You can tell from how old it looks. And I used it all throughout my childhood. This was basically my knife. I had a couple of sort of wall hanger things, but this one was the one I took out into the woods with me. This is the one I made bows and arrows with and sharpened sticks to make spears with, and all the rest. My grandfather was a great man. He was a family man and a child of the Depression, and he kept his things going. He kept a Chrysler K car going for like 15 years, and it was beautiful at the end. And I don't know if you know anything about that car, but it was a lemon right off the floor, right off the factory floor. My grandfather could make anything and could keep anything going. And he was a great man, taught me about self-reliance and how to fish, and you know, probably a lot like one of your grandfathers. I had two great, amazing grandfathers, and this knife came from my mother's father. It's got all the typical camp knife tools on it. The blade you saw, sharpened way down. It's got this can opener that I've never used personally. It's got the old cap lifter and screwdriver. I love this blade, how sharpened, how much he used it and how much he sharpened it. I think the blade itself had a bit of a belly at one time, but that got sharpened off. And then the most used tool, for me anyway, is this amazing awl. It's got an incredible sharp point here, and I used it all throughout my childhood. I did a lot of boring holes through sticks to feed string through to make bows and arrows. I did a lot of anytime I ever need a new hole in a belt, which unfortunately hasn't happened in a while. I use this. It's great for that. And this was just always my go-to tool. And then as the years passed and I started collecting knives and moving on from this, I haven't used it in a while, but I recently found it, put it back on my desk, and that's where it sits. And I still find myself pulling it out to use it. This is a Camillus, made in New York, and I don't know the year. I have other knives from my grandfather. I got a little box of slip joints after he died, and I use a number of those, one of them a lot. That sits on my desk too for little pokey, scrapey kind of things. And I have another little knife I keep with my drawing kit to sharpen my pencils. But this one is the most special to me. This one has the most meaning because I've had it the longest. And I can remember my grandfather giving this to me. So, Grandpa, if you can hear me, happy birthday. I love you and I miss you. Well, thanks for everything you taught me.